Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Cyber Potato, where I'll be continuing our card game development. So, I believe this is where we left off the last time. I know it's not much, but hey, at least we have a header. And we are making our first AJAX request using Axios. And here it is. Okay, so yeah, that's that and that's that. The thing is, on our first request to the API here, I don't want to get only the deck information, but also the info about the first card we draw from the deck. So I need to add another request here to actually obtain that. So from the data I have here, we will need this part, and this is the deck ID. So let me unpack it real quick. It's deck ID. I will rename it to deck ID. It's date. It's coming from data. I don't really like this kind of naming when you have the underscore. I don't know why they use it. Maybe there is a reason. I prefer to use always camel case. Okay, let's do another request. And let's go with await, naturally. API should get the information from the URL that is built from the deck ID, and it's under the draw URL. And I'll also say that I need only one card here. Okay, if you don't know what this syntax is, it's the string template literal from ES6 syntax. It's basically using some kind of constant to produce a string. So if deck ID is 2, you will get the string like 2 draw. It's just a string interpolation based on some variable. Okay, so let me see what I have here from the data. Okay, and oh no, what happened? You see, I declared data here, and I unpack it from the access response, and then I'm doing the same here, which is fine, but we have a name collision here, because if you try to use data here, no, let me just bump it up. If I try to use data here, then what actually is data? Is that the data from the first response rather from the second? So I have to rename it, and we'll make it card response. Okay, and then no error there, thank you. And let's do card response, and let's see what we have there. And we have nothing. And it's sad. It saddens me because I forgot the slash in the URL. Okay. So we have the deck ID. The count of the remaining cards was fetching the card a success. I don't know why you added here. If the request wasn't successful, you can always specify the HTTP code to be 400, which is basically bad request. And the array of cards, and as I requested only one card, here I have it. I have the image, which is rather interesting for me because I'll use it to display the card in our UI. I have the suit, and I have the code, and I have the value, and that is great. Okay, what I actually need from here, I'd like to return everything that is in the cards response cards 0. So I'll return every property from the card, and I will return deck ID. And let me just format document with prettier. Okay, that's great. So yeah, this is basically our first request to the API. Basically, two of them. The first to create the deck, the second to fetch one card from the deck, and it will be a random card because I added shuffle to this URL, which makes the deck being shuffled and random. Okay. Well, we have to go to our app, and this is fine, or is it now? I don't think that we should really handle everything right here. I would rather encapsulate it into another component. So let me just create CardGame board.js, and I will do something like this. Okay, we'll do component mount. Basically, we'll just grab this here. Okay, we will re-import it here. We will remove it from here. And since I don't have any hooks right here, and I don't have any lifecycle hooks, of course, and I don't have any state right here, I can turn it back to functional component. So let me just move this and this and just remove everything. Just it's no use. Okay, this isn't useful. This will be because we will write const app equals, it's a function that, and we have to export default, of course. Default app. Is that fine? It should be. Let's format document with prettier. Okay. All right. Okay, this looks nice. So here we are actually getting something, I hope we should do here, and I will need stuff like deck ID, value, the value of the card, and the image. Okay, and okay. And I will initiate the state here just so that we know how it looks like. And it's gonna be card image URL, and we'll set the null, card value, and we'll set the null, deck ID, and we'll set it to null for the time being. Okay. And here, since we have a state, and remember that state is always the part of your component that you expect to change based on some input. Basically, there are two of those inputs: the data that comes from the API and the data that is changing based on the user interaction. And this stuff like, I don't know, clicking on a button or doing something with text input or select control, basically any kind of control. So now I can modify my state by calling this set state, and I'm gonna say deck ID, card value is value, and card image URL is image. Okay, and let's start by rendering our image. So this is gonna be this whoa, not this, this state card game image URL, and let's just close that. Yeah, let's make it auto close. Okay, and also we should be a good citizen and add alt. This is your card. Okay, and we should see something. Yeah, maybe like, you know, adding what we created here to render it. Now it's more like it. Okay, so now our card is showing, we're getting the image URL from the API. And let me just mention quickly two things. Let me just log this state here. Okay, so you're gonna see this console log that we added here in the render method before the return statement pop out in our console twice. And this is the initial render of our component when we still don't have the data from the API. And this is the second render after we called this setState to modify the state. And remember, there are only two circumstances in which our component is re-rendered. And this is changing the state or getting new set of props. Okay, and here we have the first situation when we're modifying the state, and therefore we're forcing the component to automatically re-render with the new set of data. It is very crucial to remember that, because often when you have so-called wasted rendering or too many rendering cycles, the app will feel clunky and slow. So if you're rendering too many times, well, start looking for the places where you're getting, where you're setting new state, or when you're pushing new set of props to the component. Okay? And let us continue. I'm gonna wrap this component here into new start component, and I'm gonna call it card layout. So this is gonna be card layout. Here is gonna be styled div, please, with display of flex direction of column, and margin of 16 pixels. Let me just export it, and let me just use it, card layout here and here. Okay, and nothing. Whoa, this isn't right. Should we somehow just like try to limit the width on it, like 50%? No, it doesn't feel right. Maybe it should be margin. No, it should be like this. See me struggle, feel my pain. What did we do wrong? Let me just see. I forgot about something and now it will haunt me. So this is the card layout, and they will write it correctly. Display flags, it's flags column, margin 16 pixels. Here, maybe, no, this is fine. No, it's not fine. It's still close to being fine. It should be here naturally. Okay. Yeah. So it happens. You just have to realize how to find your mistake. Whew. That was scary. Okay, moving on. Moving on. This is fine, but in my game, I would like my user to have a possibility of voting or guessing for the value of the next card. Is it higher or is it lower? And this will determine whether he loses or wins. So I'm gonna create another component because this component will be a wrapper for my buttons, and I don't want them to be in this place in CardGame board. I'll rather wrap them because they are like the separate idea, the separate concern. Okay, so I'm gonna do buttons tab, and let me create that really quick. Buttons tab.js. Okay, that's great. I'm gonna do import React from React, standard, and I'm gonna do const and just maybe export default. Can I do this? I believe I can. Oh yeah. Okay, let's say div button. Let's just do button for now. This is gonna be down, and this is gonna be up button. Yeah, I believe that's all for now. Just re-import it here. Okay. Does this work? Okay, it does work. I have two buttons. That is great, but they're not looking like, well, they just look like standard buttons, and we can spice it up a bit. Okay, so let's just I'm gonna start it right here. It's not gonna be so big. From start components. Okay, so let's start with button wrapper. It's gonna be style div with naturally display flex, specify content, space between. I can also see that this is kind of sticking with the card image itself, and I like some margin there, please. Margin of 32 pixels. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Okay, a little better, but they're still looking like just default buttons, and I'm gonna change it right here. So let's create button, and it's gonna be style button naturally, and it's gonna have color of white, a background color of blue. What else? Border. Oh, padding. Yeah, let's do padding first. Let's do padding of 16 pixels, 8 pixels. and border of 3 pixels solid white. Does that make sense to you? Well, kind of, sorta. We don't really see the border here, so let's change it to violet. And we can also do border radius to make our buttons more elliptical in shape. So yeah, a little bit more rounded. Nice, but not nice enough. You see, this button is way longer than this one, so can we do just something like min width of 60 pixels? Yeah, we can. We can do anything we'd like. Yeah, way better. Okay, so I believe this is a nice place to finish this episode, and we'll continue in the next one. Bye.